We are here with the Neurotechnology Center with Columbia University, and we're going to read Mental Augmentation, a New Frontier for Human Rights. The Neuro Rights Foundation, the Neurotechnology Center at Columbia University, and the Alfred P. Sloan Foundation are pleased to invite you to a forthcoming symposium on the future of mental augmentation and human rights. And this was on March 5th, 2025. Neurotechnologies are rapidly advancing in technical capacity and market availability. These advances bring significant promise of improvements to mental and physical functioning, with growing ability to both restore neurological deficiencies and enhance cognitive capacities beyond innate human limits. However, this same progress raises profound human rights concerns, particularly with regard to mental augmentation. Mental augmentation is a vast, emerging field that lacks formal boundaries and consensus regarding definitions and scope. For example, scholars debate whether restoring lost cognitive functions constitutes enhancement or medical treatment. For the purpose of this symposium, mental augmentation refers broadly to efforts aimed at improving human cognition and behavior through direct recording and manipulation of neural processes. Utilizing neurotechnologies, mental augmentation increasingly involves interventions aimed at enhancing cognitive and emotional functioning, such as memory, attention, sensation, and problem solving beyond innate capabilities. This symposium considers the potential and perils of technologies that are capable of enhancing human cognition and behavior, focusing on international human rights frameworks. As the lines between therapeutic medical applications and consumer-driven cognitive enhancements increasingly blur in response to growing investment and expanding market applications, it is urgently necessary to interrogate the implications of mental augmentation on human rights and the ways in which the international human rights system can address the unique challenges posed by technologies capable of enhancing the human brain. Following opening remarks by Raphael, the director of Neurotechnology Center in Columbia University, our distinguished speakers of leading neuroscientists, tech developers, policymakers, and human rights experts will explore the implications of mental augmentation across various domains. Panel 1: Health Applications of Neurotechnologies. Neurotechnologies have long been used in medical settings to improve patient care and pioneer scientific breakthroughs related to neural functioning and neurological disorders. The health-based applications of neurotechnology are expansive, encompassing both research tools designed to increase understanding of brain functioning, as well as clinical tools of treatment and rehabilitation. Mental augmentation in the medical context has already shown great promise, including treating seizure disorders, investigating brain plasticity, and assisting stroke survivors and people with degenerative diseases to regain mobility or communicate through brain-computer interfaces after losing the ability to speak. Meanwhile, companies like Neuralink and Synchron are developing implantable technologies designed for the consumer market, while a host of smaller companies have wellness-related products available for purchase. What implications does the growing ability to restore neurological deficiencies and enhance cognitive capacities beyond natural human limits have on human rights, including the rights to health and science? How do neural interventions aimed at maintaining or restoring health complicate questions of consent, privacy, fairness, dignity, full development, and access? Which human rights risks and opportunities does mental augmentation pose to patients and healthcare providers? Panel 2. Consumer Neurotechnologies. No longer confined to medical settings, neurotechnologies are rapidly expanding in the consumer sphere, with a range of wearable products available for purchase. While many of these products are designed to gather information about brain functioning, others are designed to enhance cognitive functions with the goal of augmenting the human nervous system. The advent of consumer neurotechnology, combined with the growing interest in neural augmentation by industry actors, highlights a changing landscape of innovation, privacy, and agency that will have enormous implications on both consumers and the neurotechnology market broadly. In which ways do technologies capable of influencing brain activity demand urgent action? What role do different stakeholders, from regulators to industry to consumers themselves, have in safeguarding this space and ensuring the responsible development of augmentative technologies? How can existing best practices and deficiencies in consumer neurotechnology space inform a future of mental augmentation that is grounded in human rights protection? Panel 3. National Security Applications of Neurotechnologies. The applications of neurotechnology are not limited to healthcare settings or the consumer market. Governments and militaries around the world are investing significant resources into researching and developing neurotechnologies with the aim of understanding both the relevance and risks of neurotechnology to national security. The question of mental augmentation is particularly pertinent to military settings, with brain-computer interfaces offering the potential to, amongst other things, monitor soldiers' physical and mental states in real time, enhance alertness and minimize the need for sleep, increase awareness and performance in combat settings, link brains to weapons and prosthetics, operate autonomous weapon systems, or access or intercept data. At the same time, nefarious actors may deploy neurotechnologies for purposes of repression, terrorism, and neural warfare. How will forms of mental augmentation change the national security landscape and the ability of citizens and soldiers to protect themselves from human rights violations? What are the most pressing legal and human rights issues raised by the development of dual-use neurotechnologies? What role do regulators, governments, militaries, and members of industry have in ensuring that augmentative technologies are deployed in a safe and rights-respecting manner? Panel number 4. Access to mental augmentation. The growing technical capacity and market availability of neurotechnologies brings promise of improvements to mental and physical functioning. This will benefit a range of consumers, but it will unlikely benefit them equally. Differences in race, socioeconomic status, and geography, among other factors, will splinter the ability of all people to share in the benefits of augmentative technologies. At the same time, access to mental augmentation may lead to different social, professional, educational, and economic outcomes, meaning that augmentative technologies will shape differential outcomes and widen the gaps between different people or communities. How can the international community promote equitable access to advances in neuroscience and technological innovation? Which steps can be taken to ensure that mental augmentation promotes, rather than threatens, human rights, dignity, and diversity? Which policies and practices would allow for augmentative technologies to meaningfully advance without widening pro-existing inequalities or eroding diversity? So, as we just read, they are already discussing human rights and legalities of mental augmentation. We're going to go to Google and we're going to search Blue Brain Technology. Blue Brain Technology refers to the Blue Brain Project, an initiative to reverse engineer and simulate the mammalian brain to understand its structure and function, with the ultimate goal of understanding neurological diseases and the fundamental principles of the brain. While an initial goal involved creating a virtual human brain, the project focused on biologically detailed simulations of brain regions, beginning with the mouse brain. The project, founded in 2005 by Professor Henry, aimed to use supercomputers to build digital models of neural circuits and conduct large-scale simulations to gain insights into how the brain works. Key aspects of the Blue Brain Project. Biological realm. The project focused on creating highly detailed digital reconstructions of brain structure and function, including neurons, ion channels, and their electrical activity. Supercomputing. Large-scale computational power, such as IBM's Blue Gene supercomputers, was essential for performing the complex simulations required to model brain tissue. Bottom-up approach. Scientists used a bottom-up method, starting with individual cells and connections to build up a model of larger brain circuits, such as a neocortical column. Applications. The project's goal was to provide a tool for understanding brain dysfunctions, like mental illnesses, and to explore the fundamental workings of consciousness and the mind. Goals and outcomes. Understanding brain function. By simulating brain regions, the project aimed to uncover the fundamental principles governing brain structure and function. Tool for research. The digital models serve as a platform to test hypotheses and gather vast amounts of neuroscientific data, thereby accelerating research efficiency. Drug discovery. The simulations offer potential for developing new drugs to treat brain disorders by providing detailed insights into neural pathways. In other words, capturing your consciousness and keeping it forever. Now we're going to go over here and read. Blue Brain Technology. Blue Brain is the name of the world's first virtual brain. It allows to transfer all the substances of human brain to virtual brain, like PC. That means a machine can function as human brain. In other words, human does not live for thousands of years, but the information in his mind could be saved and used for several thousands of years. Today, scientists are in research to create an artificial brain that can think, respond, take action, and keep anything in memory. The main aim is to upload human brain into machine, so that man can think, take decision without any effort. After the death of the person, the virtual brain can store the knowledge, intelligence, personalities, feelings, and memories of that person that can be used for the development of the human society. This human brain, the most valuable creation of God. The man is called intelligent because of the brain. Today we are developed because we can think that other animals cannot do. But we lose the knowledge of a brain when the body is destroyed after the death of man. That knowledge might have been used for the development of the human society. What happens if we create a brain and upload the contents of a natural brain into it? This Blue Brain project was founded in May 2005. Blue Brain, the name of the world's first virtual brain. That means a machine that can function as a human brain. Today, scientists are in research to create an artificial brain that can think, respond, take decision, and keep anything in memory. The main aim is to upload the human brain into machine, so that man can think, take decisions without any effort. After the death of the body, the virtual brain will act as the man. So even after the death of a person, we will not lose the knowledge, intelligence, personalities, feelings, and memories of that man. that can be used for the development of the human society. No one has ever understood the complexity of human brain. It is complex than any circuitry in the world. So questions may arise, is it really possible to create a human brain? And the answer is yes. Because whatever man has created today, always he has followed the nature. When man does not have a device called computer, it was a big question for all. But today it is possible due to technology. Technology is growing faster than everything. The IBM is now developing a virtual brain, known as the Blue Brain. It would be the world's first virtual brain. Within 30 years, we will be able to scan ourselves into the computers. We can say it as virtual brain, i.e., an artificial brain, which is not actually a natural brain, but can act as a brain. It can think like a brain, take decisions based on the past experiences, and respond as a natural brain. It is possible by using a supercomputer with a huge amount of storage capacity, processing power, and an interface between the human brain and artificial one. Through this interface, the data stored in the natural brain can be uploaded to the computer. So the brain and the knowledge, intelligence of anyone can be kept and used forever, even after the death of the person. Working of human brain. Sensory input. When our eyes see something or our hands touch a warm surface, the sensory cells, known as neurons, send a message straight to your brain. This action of getting information from your surrounding environments is called sensory input, because we are putting things in your brain by way of your senses. Integration. Integration is best known as the interpretation of things we have felt, tasted, and touched with our sensory cells, also known as neurons, into responses that the body recognizes. This process is all accomplished in the brain, where many neurons work together to understand the environment. Motor output. Once our brain has interpreted all that we have learned, either by touching, tasting, or using any other sense, then our brain sends a message through neurons to effector cells, muscles, or gland cells, which actually work to perform our requests and act upon our environment. Need of blue brain. Now the world is very much developed because of the intelligence we have, which is an inborn quality and cannot be made. Few people in the world have such qualities, and because of it, they can think up to a level or understand which others cannot do. There is a necessity of such an intelligence, an intelligent brain, to the human society, but the intelligence gets lost after the death of the body, and the virtual brain is the solution for all of these. Everyone is busy with their lives that they have difficulty in remembering events like historical facts, important dates, and much more. Availing a machine called the virtual brain is a complete solution for all these issues and relaxes the people without any burden. Steps for building a blue brain. Number 1, data collection. Number 2, data simulation. Number 3, visualization. Data collection. It involves collecting brain portions, taking them under a microscope, and GAN the shape and electrical behavior of neurons individually. This method of studying and cataloging neurons is very familiar and worldwide. The neurons are captured by their shape, electrical and physiological activity, site within the cerebral cortex, and their population density. These observations are translated into precise algorithms, which describe the process, function, and positioning methods of neurons. Then, the algorithms are used to generate biologically real-looking virtual neurons, ready for simulation. Data simulation. It concerns with two major aspects. Number 1, simulation speed. Number 2, simulation workflow. Simulation speed. Simulations of one cortical column, more than 10,100 neurons, run about 200 times slower than real time. It takes about 5 minutes to complete 1 second of simulated time. The simulations display unevenly lined scaling. Presently, the major seek is biological soundness rather than presentation. After understanding biologically significant factors for a given effect, it might be feasible to crop constituents that don't subside in order to advance performance. Simulation overflow, making virtual cells using the algorithms written to define and describe real neurons, is the major seek of this step. Algorithms and constraints are adapted according to the age, species, and disease stage of the animal being simulated. Each one of the protein is simulated. Note, there are hundreds of millions of proteins in one cell. The Blue Brain Project Software Development Kit, a set of application programming interfaces, allows the researchers to use and audit prototypes and simulations. The Blue Brain Project SDK is a C++ library wrapped in Java and Python. The primary software used by this for neural simulations is Neuron. Michael Hines of Yale University and John Moore of Duke University developed this in the starting of the 1990s. It uses C, C++, and Fortran. It is freely available open source software. The website makes everything available, including the code and the binary data freely. Michael Hines, in cooperation with the Blue Brain Project team in 2005, ported the package into the massive and parallel blue gene. Visualization of results. RT-Neuron is the main application that Blue Brain Project uses for visualization of neural simulations. The Blue Brain Project team developed this software internally. It is coded using C++ and OpenGL. RT-Neuron is ad hoc software written specifically for neural simulations, i.e., it can't generalize to other kinds of simulation. RT-Neuron takes the output from Hutkin/Huxley simulations as input in Neuron and delivers them in 3D. This allows the programmers and researchers to view as activation potentials propagate through and between neurons. The animation can be paused, stopped, started, and zoomed, hence allowing the researchers to interact with the model. The visualizations are multi-scale. Uploading human brain. The uploading is possible by the use of small robots, known as the nanobots. These robots are small enough to travel through the circulatory system. Traveling into the spine and brain, they will be able to monitor the activity and structure of our central nervous system. They will be able to provide an interface with computers. That is as close as our mind can be, while we still reside in our biological form. Nanobots could also carefully scan the structure of our brain, providing a complete readout of the connections. This information, when entered into a computer, could then continue to function as us. Thus, the data stored in the entire brain will be uploaded into the computer. Advantages of Blue Brain. Number 1. Gathering and testing 100 years of data. Number 2. The Blue Brain can remember things with less effort. Number 3. The Blue Brain is an easy way to store and use human intelligence and data or information present in the mind even after the death of the body. Number 4. It can do all important functions like an intelligent machine. Number 5. A novel tool for drug discovery for brain disorders. Disadvantages of Blue Brain. Number 1. It increases the risk of human dependency on Blue Brain every time. Number 2. Once a blue brain related to a particular person's neural schema is hacked, the brain could be used against the person. Number 3. Another fear is about human clothing, and regaining the memory back is an expensive procedure. In conclusion, we will be able to transfer ourselves into computers at some point. Most arguments against this outcome are seemingly easy to circumvent. They are either simple minded or simply require further time for technology to increase. The only serious threats raised are also overcome as we note the combination of biological and digital technologies. Now, we're going to go over here to Science Direct, and we're going to read the Thalamic Dynamic Core Theory of Conscious Experience. I propose that primary conscious awareness arises from synchronized activity in dendrites of neurons in dorsal thalamic nuclein, mediated particularly by inhibitory interactions with thalamic reticular neurons. In support, I offer 4 evidential pillars. Number 1. Consciousness is restricted to the results of cortical computations. Number 2. Thalamus is the common locus of action of brain injury and vegetative state, and of general anesthetics. Number 3. The anatomy and physiology of the thalamus imply a central role in consciousness. Number 4. Neural synchronization is the neural correlate of consciousness. So they are trying to manipulate and influence consciousness even more than they already have. They don't want anyone thinking for themselves. They want to harvest your neurons and use it for themselves, while they say that they are doing this for the greater good of humanity.